bring to you Dallas Cowboys Vice President of Player Personnel. It is Will McClay. Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. How are you?
We're doing great. Thank you very much for having us on. Once you finish the draft, in my mind, you just get to go on vacation for a little bit. But in reality, isn't that like when the work actually begins again?
Yeah, that's when the work actually starts. I mean, we wrapped the toys up and knew what we got on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and now we get to unwrap them next week when they come in.
Whenever people talk about the potential of some of these draft picks, does that mean that the toy that got wrapped up doesn't have batteries just yet, and you're working on getting there?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty good assessment. I mean, there are some batteries in there, but we need to make them the supercharged Duracell. There's batteries in there. We just got to get the batteries to fit what we're trying to do.
Well, that leads directly into this. How often do you see a player and in your mind you envision it? I can't wait for this coach to get his hands on this player. And do you have like a pairing that you're particularly excited about for this year?
I don't want to put any pressure on particularly excited about one player or the other. I think I'm excited about bringing in youthful energy and some guys that we like into the process. It's unique in that, we got to hit the ground running when these guys come in, and they've got to learn a whole new language. They've got to learn a whole new building. They've been in their schools 3, 4, 5 years, and so it's a different environment. We just want to get them in and indoctrinate them the right way.
Where do you see Cooper Beebe and Nathan Thomas starting out position-wise?
I think the key with both of those guys is the versatility to play multiple positions. I think that Cooper, he played all of them in college. He's not ideally a tackle at the NFL, but he's an interior player. We'll work him at guard and center, and the same with Nate. It was a tackle in college. He does have tackle ability. He can play both sides, but he's also got the body type to go inside and play guard.
Okay, can you tell me a little more about Beebe's, with the traits that you saw in him that made you go, okay, he can play center too?
Well, it's the fact that he played inside at guard. He showed the ability in the Big 12 to kick outside and play tackle. While that length is not ideal, but his ability to process, command a group, lead a group of offensive linemen, those are traits that mix in well with center, and he has done it before, so that's just an added thing to go in there and to be able to compete with the guys we have in there.
I think Beebe's film showed me, this dude has a nasty streak on him. He'll punch you in the chest and knock you down. I kind of like that about him. And I saw that in Thomas, too. Was that a trait you're kind of looking for in that toughness in offensive line?
Yeah, I think, because they're asked to do the unnatural things. Whenever I turn on the tape or I'm watching the game live, as much as I love the game of football, there's one thing I wouldn't do is be an offensive or defensive lineman.
Yes.
But in order for us to continue to improve and get over the hump, it's that physical, nasty nature that these guys bring, and that they will learn how to do it at an NFL level in the rooms from the coaches and the players we have in there. But in order to get over the hump, we've got to continue to try and get bigger, stronger, faster, and more physical.
How do you envision Marshawn Nealon fitting in with that physicality? That's another potentially violent player. I know a lot of people hear defensive linemen or think edge automatically. Is this somebody who you're thinking for Dorrance or Dante Fowler's role, or do you think this is somebody that can also get work done in the middle and stop the run?
I think what he is right now is an edge player, being the big end or the open end, as we describe them. The open end is more of the edge rusher. The big end is more of the guy that sets the edge and does some things in the run game. And we think he fits either role, as well as potentially being able to go inside and rush on nickel. I mean, the biggest thing is the motor, the physicality, but also the ability to finish when you get there. You look at his measurables, his height, weight, speed, arm length, all those things. There's some upside as a rusher, but what he is violent. He's very athletic, and he's got a unique way of playing off of and through contact.
I know Micah Parsons, obviously an unbelievable player, all pro, just tremendous. Do you think if there was room for improvement, it would be in the run stopping department? I know so often he's chasing after the quarterback, but do you feel as though that is perhaps an area of improvement for Micah?
I think it's an area of improvement for our defense as a whole, and it's playing the run. I think when you have pass rushers and you have cover guys and you have a defense that people don't want to see in those third down passing situations, what they're going to try and do is run the football and, make it an unpredictable deal where you can't pin your ears back. So that means that everybody in their roles, they got to be prepared to play the run, and they have to do it at a higher level than we did last year. That's Micah and everybody else.
Do you think that from our side, I talk about this a lot, that we put too much weight on the defensive tackles and linebackers as the run stoppers and not enough on those edge guys?
No, I think it's total 11 defensively. It's the run fits. It's defense is about controlling gaps. There's all you have to do is you have to cover all your gaps, and guys have to play their responsibility. So it falls on every position and then being in sync with each other. And so, we have a new system coming in, and within that system, guys have to understand their keys, all those things, and where to fit in the run game. So it's collective. But, I think when you start in the middle, that's where people want to run the ball. So we've got to continue to get better in there with the interior guys and our linebackers and our fits as well.
Will McClay joining us here on the K&C Masterpiece on 105.3 The Fan. This is a term Broadus uses frequently, and it's pet cat. And I'm not saying you have one in particular here, but it seems like over your years of drafting, the position of cornerback, defensive back is always something that you're like, yep, I'm going to grab one of those while I'm at it. Is it just because of the nature of the game that you always have to have them, or are you like, you know what, these guys, this one specifically, and we can go to Kalen Carson, has something unique that I want?
It's a part of the game. I think with the way the rules have changed and the way the game is played, people are playing with a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. And so you need to continue to have that depth in the secondary. If you look at last year where, we're rolling well as a secondary, feel like we're good, and then, Trayvon's injury goes out. The year before that, it was the number of injuries we had in the secondary. So you've always got to have players at that position, especially with, the way that offenses are played now.
On the offensive side, what do you think about the potential of Nate Pete? Because the Cowboys have a pretty good track record with undrafted free agents, and clearly Nate can fly. I have to admit, I was excited about this signing.
Yeah, I think, what we added was to the running back room was that element of another explosive player with him. And, with adding Zeke and Freeman and plus returning the guys that we have, you think we have a well-rounded group. It's no longer a single number one running back. It's running back by committee, and it's all the different things that they can do to add value to your 48-man roster on game day. So excited about the potential of those guys in that group, and then, adding another speed element, explosive element to our offense. Is what we did there. And then, not forgetting, Deuce, we drafted him last year, and we should have more opportunities this year. And so as that, we're adding pieces of that, and the coaches will find a way to use all those pieces.
With all those pieces already at your disposal, do you think the running back room is complete?
No, it's, as Steven says, it's 24/7, 365. If opportunities come to improve ourselves, we'll look at those, but we'll look at the construction of the room, the roles, and how it all fits.
Do you like run down the hallway whenever you're like, oh, this guy, hey Steven, we got to get this one, or is it a simple phone call?
No, it's a process. It's like everything that we do. We scout them and find them. We pass the information along to coaches to see if there's any commonality and if there's any interest, and then we push it up the ladder to the guys that make the decisions and see if it fits, if we can add, financially, or if it fits for us.
Systematic. I like the way that works. All right, Liufau, the way he plays this game at linebacker, how do you see Zimmer using him, and does he fit like exactly? I know you like to get descriptions from the coaches of what they want so you can try and find that piece. Is that the perfect guy for him?
Yeah, I mean, when Zim came in and talked about there were certain type of players, each coach and system, they want the best players, but they have players that have a skill set that fit a specific need. And I think that Marist, with his ability to play on the edge, to be able to play stack, to be able to rush off of the edge, to be able to blitz, and to be able to play in the triangle as a stacked linebacker gives value. And the versatility of players adds something, much like offenses. They'll have a wide tight end or a pass catching tight end, or the change of pace back, or the slot receiver, all of those things. So there's specialized pieces defensively that have to match or can be used in that skill set to match the offenses, kind of the way they use their personnel. So you get not only a good football player that can play the stacked linebacker position, but he can fit a number of different roles.
Talk with Will McClay right here on 105.3 The Fan. Obviously, you're a huge part of getting all this talent on the team. I'm curious, do you understand why Steven, Jerry, and McCarthy have gotten so many questions during the offseason these last few weeks about the depth and talent level on this team?
Sure. I mean, I think that's what you guys do. You got to find something to talk about. And if it's not the splash names that everybody sees and these major contracts that people don't think you're doing anything, but we've continued to address it in the right way for us and adding people to it. And we'll continue to do that as we move through this process.
Do you look at this talent level then as being better if y'all are making the right moves thus far?
I think it's a better team. I think we've lost some pieces, and when you say better, you know what? I don't want to say better because we don't know till we get on the field. Everything is
right.
Great on paper, but it's how you gel as a team. It's the locker room. It's the commitment to the process. It's the commitment of the older guys making the younger guys better and holding them accountable. That's when you get better, is when you have them in and you start building it. It's not done on paper right now.
Appreciate the time and all the insight on these guys. Thank you very much, Mr. McClay.
Thank you, guys.